Hello and welcome to Creepin, the show where we watch the scary movies so you don't have to. I'm your host, Michelle, and today I'm joined by Lou. We watched the movie Death of Me, which came out in 2020. If you have not seen this movie, we are going to be spoiling it pretty much completely. So continue to watch this video at your own risk. If you don't want it spoiled, maybe come back later. If not, we will spoil it for you so you don't have to watch it. So jumping right into an overview of this movie. This movie was directed by Darren Lynn Bousman, who actually directed Saw 2, 3, 4, and the upcoming movie Spiral. So I had some hopes. I had some high hopes for this movie.
Same.
It is starring Maggie Q and the lesser of all the Hemsworths, Luke Hemsworth from Westworld. And this movie is what I would call a travel or adventure horror movie. So it takes place in an unnamed island off the coast of Thailand. It is about this couple, Christine, Maggie Q, Neil, Luke Hemsworth, and kind of their, I don't want to say misadventures because that sounds so like fun, but like their terrible time on this island. The movie really kicks off with them waking up and they're on their final day of their trip. So they're trying to leave the island and everything goes wrong. They've lost their passports. They're hungover as heck. Their whole lives are in disarray. And they kind of need to figure out like, how do we get off the island if we've lost our passports? There is some panic on the island right now because there is a typhoon heading their way. So they're really trying to leave. And the movie kind of unfolds based around Neil's video camera. So Neil is actually a photographer / videographer for a travel magazine. So that is part of why they're on this trip. So they can't remember what they did the night before. Like, why were we so hungover? Where did we lose our passports? Da, da, da. So they decide to watch the video from the night before. So what we see is the couple in a bar and they are offered this like special island drink by the bartender and they take it and pretty much immediately they're having a bad time. It seems like they have been drugged or something not quite right is going on. Christine is given a necklace by this lady, which she is told to wear. She told it's a very precious necklace. It's part of a tradition. So she agrees to wear that necklace. We see kind of through the video camera that the night progresses absolutely terribly and horribly, and it results in Neil actually killing Christine. So the two of them are having sex, and he gets a little crazy, a little violent, and does things that she does not approve of, involving choking, and she dies. And he just buries her. So we see the video camera's perspective of him just straight up burying her. So imagine our character's surprise when they're watching the video the next day and they're both alive. Like Christine's clearly alive, even though she like died and got buried. So we kind of see her start to unravel mentally. She's like vomiting up grass, being like, how did I get, like, you killed me, but I'm here. She's not sure if she should be mad at him or not mad at him because nobody's really sure what's going on. So they try to kind of uncover the secrets of the island. And this is where the movie, to me, it kind of goes off the rails and gets a little jumbly because some things happen, I think, in different orders. It's unclear what happens first and next. But it results in Neil dying. They're trying to figure out what's going on. Neil dies on the island. It's unclear if he disembowels himself on the dock because that's what Christine sees. But then everyone's like, no, your husband is not dead. He's fine. So we're not really sure at this point as the viewer if Christine's crazy, if she's not, if everyone on the island is conspiring against her. It's pretty unclear. She does eventually find this woman whose name I honestly cannot remember, who actually tells her the truth of the situation and what's going on and offers to take her to a doctor because she's so unwell. So this woman takes her to a doctor where we learn that Christine is pregnant with some type of demon baby because it did not look right on the ultrasound at all. And she freaks out. She doesn't want any medicine. She like wants to get out of there. She's like, this is not right. How did I get pregnant from literally, like, it's implied that last night where she got murdered by Neil, she got pregnant somehow during that. And now there's a baby within 24 hours. It's a ruckus. And as Christine kind of starts to unravel mentally, she sees a lot of different things. And we see kind of the people on the island getting ready for a festival of sorts. And it's eventually revealed to us that it is a sacrifice of Christine and her unborn potential demon baby child. And it has been a ritual that the people on the island have been doing for 200 years, which is why they've never had a typhoon before. It's never actually touched ground on their island. So with the incoming typhoon, they are going to be doing a sacrifice to keep the island safe. And Christine really does try to fight this and, run away and get off the island. No one's really offering her help. She's kind of unsure of what to do. So she ends up at the actual sacrifice. And at the sacrifice, it's explained to her that every choice that she has made has actually led her to this sacrifice. So by choosing not to leave the island until she could find her husband, who maybe is dead, maybe not, she's kind of in a way consented to being there. Every choice she's made literally led her to the sacrifice. Like she walked up on it. So she has to make the final choice of choosing to be sacrificed to save everyone. So they really try to kind of guilt trip her into choosing to die. And she's just like not having it. She's like, absolutely not. I'm out. Peace out. She gets on a boat and she leaves. And we kind of see the result of that. The movie really ends with some shots of the island and all of the people having been killed by the typhoon. It did touch ground. It killed everyone on the island as far as we know. And we see Christine lying in the boat where the Coast Guard kind of comes up and figures out that, oh, she's also dead. So he packs her in a body bag, and as he's kind of returning her to the island, because they assume she came from the island, so they're just going to chuck her back there, he takes her little amulet that had fallen off of her and puts it in her body bag. And the final shot is her waking up. So that's a wild overview of a wild, wild movie.
It is wild.
Yeah. What did you think of it, Lou?
It sucked. Okay. I don't actually, the first maybe pretty much the way you said it, like the first maybe 15-20 minutes had potential. It was cool. I liked it. Like the scenery was great. Remind me of like the Philippines, where some islands that I kind of grew up with. And then when the hallucinations and all that start, that's when it started to go off the rails. Especially there's some, like, I don't know if it's just the execution or they didn't think it through, because I don't know if you noticed it, but you know how the typhoon or storm, they haven't experienced it in 200 years.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, on the TV, the newscaster basically, or the weather person basically, just said that the biggest storm in 10 years. So that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
And man, it had potential. It reminded me a little bit of Wicker Man, which
Okay.
is in a meta way. They also mentioned that, like, they were in Wicker Man, which is trying to do this meta joke that didn't work, because Wicker Man was the better movie out of these two.
Yes.
So yeah, just it had really good potential up until just the poor execution of, I don't know whose fault that is, of the director, which had done some pretty decent movies. And
Yeah.
yeah,
I honestly, this movie was convoluted as hell. I think they tried so hard to, I don't know if like have a message or to like have multiple twists. And by doing this kind of like, it was so like when before we started recording this, we were talking about who's going to talk about the overview, and neither of us wanted to do it because
yep,
it is so unclear what actually happens in this movie.
it's so messy.
I don't know if Neil's dead. Like, did he die? Did he not? Did she witness it? Like, I don't
know.
you
can't tell from the hallucinations and which is real life anymore. They don't make that clear. So
exactly.
you're confused.
And it's like, I feel like there's a way where you can use hallucinations effectively in a movie. This one was doing a lot with hallucinations, a lot with video cameras, like a lot with, there was this whole side story of the Airbnb owner being cured of cancer.
Yep.
Where like the island's a healing thing. And that itself would have been like, if that had been like the central focus and that had been more like not such of a weird side story, that could have been a really cool concept to flesh
I
out.
absolutely agree. Yeah.
They didn't. And then whatever happened in that final scene at the sacrifice, where it was like, was it trying to be some weird dialogue about consent? Because that's what I think they were trying to do, and that's why it started with like, I want to say it like it was a rape at the start, because she was not consenting to being choked and he forced himself on her in that manner. That all led to this, and them kind of talking about her choices that led her here. So is if that was the case, that was atrociously handled. They missed the mark completely if that was what they were going for. And if that wasn't what they were going for, then I have no idea what they were going for. This movie freaking sucked. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And I will say one other thing that I'm getting tired of with travel slash adventure movies is I'm getting tired of being told to be scared of other people's cultures. That's old to me. That's old news. I'm tired of the movies like what is it? Um I forget what it's called. The green something. Where it's like a tribe of people in the Amazon and they murder people. And
Yes.
it's
I
you don't
just
even
seen that like a couple months ago.
yeah, I'm getting really exhausted of those types of movies. Like, I think we can do better. This is a 2020 movie. Like, we can do better than like making other people's cultures seem so sketchy. Like, it's not interesting anymore. It's been done. I've seen it 100 times. It's so at this point insensitive and not handled in a way that's even like remotely okay.
Yeah.
I'm bored of it. Like, we can do better horror. Maggie Q, Luke Hemsworth, y'all could do better movie wise. I thought it was atrocious. In terms of what made it a horror movie, I would say like they really tried to make it a psychological horror in the whole hallucination type of thing. I don't think that landed very well. There was some gore in it that again I don't think landed well, because I as a viewer wasn't sure if it was real or not. And if there's no stakes to the gore, I don't find it effective.
Yeah.
So I scare wise didn't do it for me like literally at all. What about you? Was there anything that you're like, ooh,
Nothing
could have been
about it
good?
really scared me. Even the parts that are supposed to be kind of gory, to me, I was just looking at it in a way where this looks kind of fake. I mean, like the guts that were spilling out, the way he was angled, kind of looked really fake and trying to hide something like a old filmmaking trope that didn't work. Even the at the end where she wakes up and like her eye is supposed to be stitched closed, but then you see like makeup on the side to make sure that you don't hurt her, but you can
Yeah.
tell I can tell right away that it was fake. And yeah, even there's these I can't remember right now what they're called, but they're just quick flash scenes to kind of explain the scariness of what's happening. Like the
Mhm.
Grudge does it. Which is the one that the Ring does it. They have these nice artsy shots.
Right,
They try
right.
to do that, but it just looked cheap.
It didn't fit. Like I don't think they knew what the vision was necessarily.
Mhm.
If they're
Yeah.
trying to do that,
Yep.
they're trying to do hallucinations, they're trying to do like a video camera thing. We're also on an island. The thing I will say, like the only thing I would say that kind of the movie did well, no, that's generous. The movie tried, that could have been okay, wasn't okay, was that it was very colorful. And I thought that was really cool. It kind of gave me, this is generous, midsummer vibes in like the really bright, colorful, because all the costumes of the people and like their outfits that they were wearing for the ceremony or whatever, as they're walking through the streets, like that was really cool. And if they'd really nailed making that creepy, I think that could have been really cool. But I don't think they nailed that. So I don't have a like, there was no best scene for me. The best scene was when the movie ended and I got to go on with my life. That was my best scene. What do you think the worst scare or the worst scene was for you?
The worst scare was not that I liked it, but it was the worst. Was the end when all of a sudden she's alive. First of all, this typhoon that hasn't hit in 200 years, and you're in this small boat, there's no way in hell you would be on that boat if that was a
Yeah.
real storm. And your necklace is just right beside you.
Yeah, it fell off
Hell no.
conveniently like there.
You could
Yeah.
be in a bigger boat and still die from that storm. And you were in
Yeah.
this tiny floaty thing. No, no, it's stupid. And then she opens her eyes like, you didn't. Sure. Do you want me
Yeah.
to wait for a sequel? No, thanks.
No, oh God, no way. If they make a sequel, no, thank you. No way, absolutely not. I watch trash and I'm not gonna watch that. For me, I think the worst, oh God, everything was the worst. There was this weird, I don't know when it happened in the movie, truthfully. The weird scene where she was kind of walking in the surf and she like wasn't sure if she was walking on rocks or skulls. That like weird
Oh yeah,
hallucination to me
yeah.
made no sense. I wasn't sure what I was supposed to feel from that. I was like, am I supposed to be scared? Am I alarmed? Like she as a character didn't seem to know what to think about what was going on. So I as a viewer had even less of an idea what to do. So that did not work for me. And most pretty much I'll just say in general the hallucination scenes didn't work because we weren't sure if they were real enough to even care. So yeah,
And there
not
was no
not hot.
distinction too. Just as like a kind of a amateur filmmaker, there was no distinction between what was real and what's not. Like let us know which one is which, right?
Mhm.
But even the parts where I guess I knew what the director was trying to do, trying to make us feel the way what the characters were feeling. You know how the local people were just speaking in Thai and then there was no subtitles. I don't know if you noticed
Mhm.
that, but I guess I know what he was trying to make us feel like we were part of it, like the tenseness of the situation. But I just
Mhm.
didn't feel that. I just thought it was handled stupidly.
Yeah. So, absolutely. I think the like you had said, the first like 15 minutes, the concept in general, like the idea of you're dead and you saw yourself die and now you're alive, cool. That's actually like a really sick concept. And then they didn't do anything with that. Like
Yeah.
realistically, her having died didn't actually play really into anything that happened later on,
No, it
like
made no
truly.
sense.
So why did we do it? Don't know. So I give this movie, oh God, like a 0.5 out of 5. It was atrocious. The only 0.5 I'll give it is for like the opening sequence and the concept was cool enough to get it a 0.5. But I absolutely hated this movie. I literally won't recommend it to anyone. I made Lou watch it for the sake of this so then I could hate it publicly because I hate it. I think it's terrible. And yeah, I don't recommend it to anyone. I don't find it scary. I find it confusing at the best. It's just confusing. If like you want to try to unravel this movie for us and let us know what it's about and
Yep.
what's supposed to happen, that'd be really cool. But please, if you value your time, probably don't watch this movie.
I am giving it a 1.5, and that 1.5 goes to the beautiful Southeast Asian island, and none of it is going to that movie. Just for the location, the 1.5.
Fair.
That's all
I
it's
can
getting
respect
from
that.
me, and I will not recommend this to anybody. In fact, if somebody asks me about this movie, I'll just walk the other way.
I'll just spoil it for them so they don't have to watch. I'll just give them the link to this video and be like, here, save yourself the hour and a half and just watch this instead.
You want to be really
You're
confused by
welcome.
something really dumb? Watch it. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
watch us try to explain it because like we're confusing and the movie's even more confusing. So
Yep.
there you go. So thank you all so much for watching. If you have any suggestions about the horror content you want us to watch or review, please let us know in the comments down below. This has been Creepin' It Real. I'm Michelle. I've been joined by Lou, and we watched Death of Me. Bye.
Bye.